and welcome to Community Storytelling. I'm Lissa Kreisler. So glad you're with us today. I always say everybody has a story. What's yours? Well, wait till you hear this story. Laura Kramer Rahmil. Meet Laura. Hi, Laura.
Hello.
Thank
Hello.
you for being with us today. And I don't even know where to begin with your story, but I will just give a little quick line about Laura. She was born in the Ukraine when it was part of the Soviet Union, of course. And I'm going to have you pick it up from there because this is just the most amazing story.
Well, thank you, Lisa.
So you're born. Here we are.
Yes,
you're
yes.
in the Ukraine.
I'm in Ukraine. I was, my mother died when I was 9 months old, and I was raised by my fraternal grandmother and my father, who was a single father and had to work hard to support our family. So mostly I was with my grandmother.
And I got to ask you, so what did your dad do in the Ukraine? What was his employment?
His employment was he was in charge of the company that was fixing refrigerators.
All right.
And
The Maytag man.
Yeah,
The Maytag
you could
man.
say Maytag,
Okay.
you know, service and supervising. And when I was 9.5 years old, my grandmother got paralyzed and lost her speech and was confined to bed. She needed extra help, extra medical expenses. So my dad went, started working in this field and started his own business before and after work.
So he had 2 jobs at that point.
2 jobs. And when I was 10 years old, 6 months later, I came home and I found KGB agents in our house doing the search, and I found out that my father was arrested.
For what reason?
For doing his own business before and after.
So you're not allowed to be independent?
You're not at that time, not during Soviet Union.
Wow. So who was taking care of you?
I took care of myself.
At the age of 10?
And my grandmother.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. And my father was supposed to be in jail for 7 years. And I hired an attorney on consignment.
At the age of 10, you hired an attorney?
And he was in jail only 3 years. In the meantime, I was making flowers, silk flowers, at home and supported us and paid rent and took care of my grandmother.
And you're a child yourself?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
And was a straight-A student skipping classes in school because I couldn't play with other kids.
So how many years did this go on for you?
3.5 years.
So you're in the Ukraine till what, you're 13, 14 years
Yes.
old, and then what happened?
And then my father got out of jail, and and then sort of I had a semi-normal existence and childhood, but I hated the system because of what I saw,
of course,
and what I've learned. So, as soon as 32 years ago, I had an opportunity to come to the United States as a Jewish refugee.
So okay, so you were in the Ukraine till you were 32 years old, or not? Till you were
32 years ago.
32 years ago. Okay, so at what age were you when you left the Ukraine?
I was in my 30 years old.
Okay,
and no, 28.
And how
28.
did you even get out of the Ukraine?
Well, we had to go through a permission, and they gave us permission to leave the country, and we left, and we went to Czechoslovakia on a train. From Czechoslovakia on a train, we went to Austria. My family, my ex-husband, my daughter, 3-year-old daughter,
so you had a
and
little
myself.
3-year-old.
And we were allowed to bring with us $250, 2 suitcases, and I had a porta potty with me.
And you haven't even mentioned, you didn't speak English.
I didn't, because we took German as a second language in school. So my languages were Russian, Ukrainian, German, and I learned Polish on my own.
And you ended up in Italy, did you say?
First in Vienna, in Austria.
Okay.
And that was easy because I knew German.
Right.
And then we came to Italy, and we lived in Italy.
And how did you get from country to country?
On a train.
So you were allowed to leave country and go to another country?
Yes, as a refugee. There was a refugee group. So in Italy, we applied. We were stateless. We had no country. We didn't belong anywhere. And we applied to New Zealand, Canada, and United States. United States being number 1. And within 3 months, we were called for an interview, and we gave a permission to enter the country.
I can't even imagine how alone you had to feel. It was you, your then husband, and your 3-year-old.
Yes.
And trying to make ends meet.
Yeah.
I don't know what the refugee camps were like. Well, what were they like?
Well, it was not like a tent. We, we had some money, and we rented an apartment together with other refugee people. So everybody had a room, and we shared. And we brought some items to sell, like opera records, some linens, we brought some electrical things that were popular, and we sold. And for this money, we ate and lived and paid our rent. and we shared rent.
These items came from the Ukraine?
We bought them. We bought them. We knew, because refugees were passing on to each other, what should you bring, what can you sell?
So you were allowed to bring all those things with you?
Right, in 2 suitcases.
So it all had to fit. Okay.
Right.
Were you allowed to bring, did you have family heirlooms? Were you allowed to bring those?
Not anything that it's valuable. Nothing valuable was allowed.
Oh my goodness, you are kidding me. Wow. I mean, I see you have this gorgeous necklace, which looks like maybe it came from the Ukraine.
That was the only thing that I have left from my dad. He gave me this camea just before I left, and I was allowed to bring that and one little ring.
Your dad was alive when you left?
Yes.
Have you seen him since?
Once.
Once.
Yeah,
and is he still alive? I hope
no,
he's
he passed away in 92.
Oh my goodness. So, okay, so now we have, where do we have you? Where did we leave up? I feel like my mouth is open the whole time because this is such an amazing story. And you're a Wonder Woman. You are a Wonder Woman.
Thank you. We were very excited. We were sent to Chicago, and we were nervous, of course. We didn't know if somebody will be meeting us at the airplane.
You're still a refugee.
We're still in refugee, but we already got green cards, because once you allowed to come, we came to this country legally. There were some representative of the organization, highest organization, that waited for us at the airport. They paid for our 1 month's rent in a motel in Chicago. And from there on, we started on our own. I could not go to school because I had a 3-year-old.
And you're still speaking German or Russian?
A little bit. You know, I picked up a little bit of English, but very minimal while living in Italy. So my ex-husband was going to school and brought me books, and I had books that I brought with me.
Wow.
I studied on my own.
Unbelievable.
So we arrived in January. By May, I was already employed. I found a job.
Doing what?
In a bank. They hired me as a teller, and I was so scared, and they said, don't worry, we'll teach you how to do everything. And what is it there to teach? I mean, to count money. I already had 2 degrees from University of Ukraine, so I knew how to count money, but the problem was communicating with people. And as a teller, and that's how I learned English, from people, from communicating with them. And this is a very interesting story, because people were drawn to me because I remember their names, and I asked questions, and I was interested in their lives, and they were coming to me with questions. So at the end of the week,
that was before ATM, so everybody had to go into the bank and talk.
So there was a huge line in my window, and other tellers were asking them, can we help you? And they said, no, thank you, we're waiting for Laura. So the management of the bank noticed, and they asked me, Laura, how would you like to go to school to continue your education? And I said, I would love to, but I have no money. I was making $4.25.
$425?
$4.25 per hour.
Oh my goodness. Well, hopefully it added up to $4.25 at some point.
So anyway, they paid for my education, and I went to Northwestern and got my degree. And
right there, this is what America is supposed to be about. You had somebody who took an interest in you, wanted to be your mentor, and wanted you to become somebody fabulous and live the American dream.
Right, but it all happened because they saw how dedicated I was. I worked 7 days a week. I never said no to anything. I treated my employment like it was my own business. And that usually is, in most cases, your employer notices it.
You hope so. You would hope so, yes.
So that's how, my success started, and I worked as an executive for 2 large international companies, and loved my job and loved the United States. We became citizens in 1985.
Okay.
And proud citizens, I should add.
Wonderful.
And I decided to help other refugees that didn't have.
So do we still have the husband or not?
Yes.
We still have the husband. And how old is your daughter at this point?
Well, that we're talking, she was like 6 years old.
Oh my goodness.
She was very independent. She came home by herself. She walked 2 blocks, made lunch, made breakfast, made dinner sometimes if necessary.
Her mom. She was her mom's daughter.
Yeah, she's wonderful. She's very independent. And the chairman of the board of the bank really liked me. By the way, it was a Greek bank, and I learned Greek. So I could talk to customers for 5 minutes.
You're multilingual.
And with my complexion, they thought I was Greek.
And then
I would tell them in Greek, I'm Russian. Rashida ime. And they said, no.
That's great. So you're in Chicago, but we're here in Los Gatos. So how did we end up here? So you were not in the refugee camp anymore. Once you became a citizen, you were done with refugee camps.
No, and in Chicago, I wasn't in refugee camp. We had an apartment, we worked, I went to school, we lived a normal life. And on the weekends, I helped other refugees. So I wanted to give back to the community, becoming successful, and I always worked. I was also a spokesperson in some of the churches. I had a business on the south side of Chicago, primarily in the African-American community, and I went to Baptist church on a Sunday and was talking to people, and especially in single women. I was single mom at the time with 2 kids, and I was encouraging them with my story to become successful and to give up and go to school and get off welfare. Then I met my wonderful husband, and in 2008 I moved to Los Gatos. He was from California, and just a perfect, wonderful, very supportive man, Sam. And I came to Los Gatos.
With your 2 children? You have 2 children now?
No, my children were still in Chicago at the time. I just left here,
goodness.
and he had 3 boys. I have 3 stepsons.
Oh,
and they were teenagers at the time.
Yes.
My kids were a little bit older.
Yes. But they're still in Chicago.
Now, no.
Oh, now you got them here.
Yeah, now they're all here.
So now we're the Brady Bunch. We're all
Now
living
we're
in
the
Los
Brady
Gatos.
Wonderful family. I always wanted to have 5 kids, and I have them, and I
Yes.
have a 3-year-old granddaughter. I got my real estate license here in California, broker's license, and I joined Alan Pinel.
Yes.
It was a wonderful experience. I loved it. I live in Los Gatos. The company was in Los Gatos. Wonderful people. I still keep friendship with them. In January of 2017, I changed my jobs, and I'm with a company called FARA.
FARA,
FARA, from the word fair.
Still real estate.
Still real estate. I'm a managing broker of California. And why I choose this company is giving back to people. It's kind of in a way, when you purchase a real estate, usually when you purchase or sell home, you have to pay a certain commission to a real estate company. And this company allows sellers to be free seller or pay only 1%.
Okay.
And that helps sellers to save an average $40,000 to $60,000. Also, when they buy the real estate, we have buyer's assist program where they pay us only 1% and get the rest in the form of rebate.
You said you're helping the community. Does something come back to the community, or are you just saying they have more money to spend here now?
Well, you're helping the community to help. But what I did also prior to starting working for this, I was one of the victim service unit team working with Los Gatos Police Department. I was with them for 4 years. Captain Forrester started this program, and she recruited 15 volunteers, so I did that. I worked mostly with identity theft because I was an ex-banker, and seniors.
All right.
Because I was raised by a grandmother.
Well, you are so amazing. Do you ever have fun? Do you ever just go shopping? Because I'll go shopping with you.
I love shopping. It
doesn't sound like you have any time to do anything.
I do. I find time. I love shopping. Not lately because I've been servicing.
Call me. We'll go.
Yeah.
We'll
shopping,
go.
and I love ballroom dances. I've been doing Latin dances.
You are an amazing woman, and you are the American success story. And I'm so glad we have you here. I'm sorry your dad never got to come here and see what had become of you. Because boy, would he be proud, and your grandmother too. But a story, I mean, how about that for a story? Laura Kramer Rahmil, that is amazing. And I always say, others have those kind of stories too. Is that you? It is so easy. You do what Laura did. She went to KCAT.org and nominated herself. And you can nominate yourself, you can nominate somebody else, but it is so easy to do. And I would love for you to be sitting in this chair with me so we can have you on right here at KCAT TV 15.